Hello and welcome to my channel. So you're a project member or maybe you're a project manager and you're asking yourself, how do I constitute a project team? How do I create a proper governance for the project? Don't worry, in this video, I'm going to take you through the governance structure of a project and how to constitute the project members, how to constitute the project structure for a successful project. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar Mbira. I'm a certified program and project manager. This is the channel I help aspiring project managers and also practicing project managers to succeed. In a project, the first and foremost important point is to get what is called a project mandate. A project mandate is nothing other than an authorization from either your organization or even any business entity that you are representing. So you are being authorized to proceed with the further activities of the project. So that is what we call a project mandate. I've also done a video on project mandates. You can also check it on my channel if you want to learn more about project mandates. So once the project mandate has been given, it doesn't normally have any specific structure. For example, it can be verbal. It can be a summary, one-page summary, or even one paragraph. For example, they might say, as an organization, we want to build a new customer product. It could be any product. It could be a computer product. It could be even a perfume product. It could be even a new process. It can even come as one paragraph to say, we want to run a project to change our processes, our internal processes to be efficient. Or it can even come as, we want to build a new bridge. Or maybe we want to build a new head office or HQ for our company. So that is the kind of mandate that I'm talking about. So it is now upon the project manager, which is you, to expand on that mandate to make sure things are clear. So how do you expand it? You go to a stage of the project called starting up the project, or project startup in short. So in this project startup, it's actually a phase of the project. It has got so many elements that you have to consider. For example, you need to consider the appointment of the project team, the appointment of the executive, the appointment of the project manager, and also the validation or the outlining of the business case, as well as capturing any of the lessons learned. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you're the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help to grow this channel. It will also help this channel to create more videos like this one. The first one is appointment of the executive. Projects, organizations, they differ. In some organizations, they have structures and they have a way of running their project. They might say, this is the executive, we want to run the project. They might also say, this is the project manager, we want to run the project. So if you are lucky that the kind of project you need to run, the executive is already appointed and you, as the project manager, you have been appointed. That can be done through the mandate process that I've spoken about earlier. Or else, if that is not yet done in the startup project, if that is not yet done in the starting up project phase or project startup phase, you have to be very clear on who is the executive, who is the project sponsor. So the project sponsor must be appointed during the project startup phase. Why do you need this project sponsor? There are various reasons why you need this project sponsor. The first reason is you need someone who is going to make executive decisions for the benefit of the business based on that project. You need someone who's going to make bold decisions in order to support the project. You need someone who's going to be a go-to person when a project manager has got an issue to escalate. So that is the role of the project sponsor or project executive. In most projects, from my experience, you'll find that these project executives or sponsors, they are actually senior members of the organization. Probably we are looking at CFO, which is Chief Financial Officer, or COO, which is the Chief Operations Officer, or even MD, or even Chief Executive Officer. So these are people who are at a high level who are going to be able to make decisions in the project for the benefit of the organization. So that role, one of the unique points about that role, it's not shareable. This is one of the two roles in a project structure or program structure which is not shared. You cannot share the executive, you cannot share the sponsor role. It can only be one person. Please get it right from me. The project sponsor, project executive role cannot be shared. It can only be one person. So this is the one person who is going to be chairing the project board. We are going to talk about project board later. This is one person who is going to represent the business perspective. And in a nutshell, this is an advocate of the project. So a project sponsor must be appointed either during the mandate process or during the starting up phase of the project or project startup. Now, the second part or the second role that must be appointed first is the project manager. So assuming you were lucky to be appointed project manager during the mandate process or mandate authorization, then you don't need to do anything during the startup of the project. However, if the project manager was not selected during the mandate authorization, once the executive or the project sponsor has been appointed, the project sponsor can go on to appoint a project manager. Project manager is the same like executive. It can only be one person. It can't be shared. If you find someone suggesting that you want project manager role to be shared, my advice is you need to go against that. There should only be one executive, one project manager in every project setup. So why do you need a project manager? Project manager is just like a pilot of the plane. He's the decision maker. He's the one who is supposed to run the project on a daily basis. He's the one who is supposed to produce project reports. He's the one who is supposed to report progress on the project. So a project manager role is very, very important. And that is why you as a project manager, you need to be very much aware of what are you supposed to do if you're appointed to be a project manager. Is to come up with a project governance structure. Project governance structure is nothing other than the team structure, how you expect the project to be run. In most cases, the governance structure has got the project board, and also you have either a mini project board or a change board. Then you also have your project director, program manager, and then the next level is the project manager, which is you. Then below the project manager, the next level you find is the team manager or the team leads in general. After the team leads, you now have the team members. This is now the last structure, and it contains mostly a number of members as compared to other levels. So how do you set up the governance? I've seen from my experience some other projects during the contracting period, which means as they try to invite contractors who are going to implement in case they decide to subcontract, they even come up with the structure. But we are talking of starting up the project. The structure is not yet there. So what you have to do is to make sure that you have your project board, you have your mini project board in case, or change board. You can also have a project director or program manager. Then you have your project manager, project team members, and also project team managers. That is very, very important. Why do you need the project board? The project board is the one which owns the project. So the project manager is running the project on behalf of the project board. That is very, very important. If there are any specific decisions to be made, the project manager is supposed to go to the project board. If there are any certain milestones to be celebrated, for example, or which are going to be affected, the project manager goes to the project board. So you need to understand the project board. I'm going to quickly explain to you on the project board. The next stage, so project board normally it has a chair. So the chairperson of the project board is the executive. I've said it before. The chairperson of the board, project board, is the executive. However, the board is supposed to have 3 standard roles or basic roles in terms of project structure or best practice on the project structuring process. One is the business user. So what do we mean by this? There should be someone who is representing the interests of the organization or the business of the organization. From my experience, I've seen that, especially for one of the banking projects that I ran, the business user might not be one person. And this is different from project manager and executive. Business user can be shared. So this role can be shared. You can have so many board members representing business. For example, the banking project I was talking about, we had a user from treasury, we had a user from finance, we also had the user even from ICT, we also had the user from operations, we also had the user from payments. So you don't need to bloat your project board. You don't want your project board to be very big. Normally, what I can advise from my experience, 4 to 12 project board members, it's manageable. If you make it too big, it becomes very difficult to manage. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you're the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help to grow this channel. It will also help this channel to create more videos like this one. The second role is the user. In some cases, you want to call it senior user. What do we mean by senior user? Senior user, this is a representative of the ultimate beneficiaries of the project. That is the department or the people who are going to actually use the deliverables from the project or the results of the project. It could be a process change, it could be a new product, it could be customer service change, it could be a new structure. All those who are going to benefit from this project, they are called users. Why are we talking about senior user? You might have so many users. Remember what I said, you need to have between 4 and 12 board members. So for you to have that number, you don't want to bring 50 users. They can select representatives to represent them as users on the project board. So this role is where you have people defining the requirements. You also have people defining the business case or business benefits. The business case or the business benefits. So this role is very, very important. A user or senior user on the project board. They must be part of the project members. They must be part of the project board members. That is very important. The second role is the supplier. You might be wondering, what is this supplier? In project management terms, normally a supplier is either an individual, an organization, or even any entity that is going to be responsible for producing the project deliverables. Depending on the stage of the project, they are called suppliers because they supply their services, they supply their skills, they supply their knowledge to make sure the project is actually going to deliver what it's supposed to deliver. However, you might find that there are certain big projects like the ones I've run before. You have so many vendors, you have so many contractors, you have so many solution providers. So there's no need to bring all those 50 people into the project board. They have to elect one senior supplier who is going to represent them, or maybe just a few, maybe 2 or 3. It might not necessarily be one. It might not be necessarily be one, but maybe 2 or 3 representatives of the supply side. So that's the board level. You remember, you're doing this in the project startup phase. So it has to be very clear how the board is going to be constituted. You work closely with the executive or the project sponsor to make sure that the project board structure is very clear. After the 3 roles of business, user, and supplier, they are done. Project manager is already defined for you. You have the project manager. Then the next level is what I normally do in my projects. I create a layer of project team managers. Sometimes I just call them team leaders. It's a layer within the structure of the project. The advantage of doing this is you want someone to be running the project, not the project in totality, but specific tasks in a project, in absence, for example. You cannot be everywhere as a project manager. So normally it's easier to put technical leaders, whether they're from finance, they're from ICT, or any other department, or construction. You just put engineers, you just make sure that you have that layer. I normally call them work streams. So you first create the work streams. For example, if I was constructing a building, one of the work streams which I was going to create is the builders. Then I put a team leader or team manager for the builders. The second one is roofing. So obviously I'll put a work stream for roofing. with a team lead or a team manager. Then the third one, obviously, we'll talk about plumbing. I'll also put another work stream for plumbing, and I put a leader. Even electrification, I can even put a leader as a work stream there. If it was software development, I also put a business analysis or business analyst as a work stream. I can put developers as a work stream. I can also put testers as a work stream, or even the technical or the deployment staff as a work stream. So putting the project into different work streams or structures is very, very important. It gives some sense of ownership. It gives some sense of delivery, some sense of leadership in the project. So as a project manager, your responsibility will just be making sure that all those specific work streams with their specific team leads, they're delivering. They're executing what is required in the project. So that is part of the project structure. So setting up project structure is one of the main activities during project startup phase. If you want me to create additional videos based on the concepts, the techniques, and all the information that we have discussed earlier in this video, or else you have some clarifications, let me know in the comment section below.